On April 26, 2024, I attended a protest for students for Palestinian liberation to document the human reality of this situation. This is not TV. This is not entertainment. This is real. And this is what happened. So I traveled to George Washington University, a well-respected college in Washington, D.C., where I heard many people gathered to protest due to a particularly hostile administration. I'm not a student at this university, but I have infinite respect for those who are and put their education on the line to participate in this because they care so deeply. This institution costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to attend. Students are risking a monumental amount by going against their admin and continuing to protest. And they're not risking their futures for nothing. This is the most pressing issue of our time, and they care deeply about it. Next time someone cynically says Gen Z doesn't genuinely care about the people of Palestine, or that this is just some passing trend, remember this video. I was informed police watching over the protests were not hostile and had in fact denied admin's request to break up the situation. However, if we were to cross the barrier into the encampment, that's where problems would arise. Here's what happened. Just a couple days prior, an encampment was established in a section of the university called U Yard. Students had rushed the yard to set up tents with the intention on staying there as long as it took to have the university meet their demands. After clashes with police on the first night, the encampment was sealed off by a barricade. This barricade allowed students to leave, but if you tried to enter, an officer would meet you there and arrest you. By the time I was there, they were 48 hours in. Maybe a couple dozen or so students remained. The police presence was extensive but reserved. However, just because they were not hostile at the moment did not mean they were our friends. At this point, the actual encampment paled in comparison to the large group of protesters supporting them just on the other side of the barricade. There were hundreds of us. There was very little opposition present, and only one singular counter-protester actually displaying anything at the event. Instead of bothering her, the crowd largely ignored her, except for one woman, just standing in front of her. Not interacting, not causing a scene, just standing there, holding a sign that read, "Choose your side in history now." I found this image incredibly moving. At this point, several camera crews had surrounded the protest and were eager to go live for local evening news. While the organizers continued to gather people, music was blasting, and energy was high. Then, the sun started to set. As the sun started to set, the rally starts. The crowd's energy was higher than ever. At this point, the organizers gathered everyone and a sing-along commenced. There was a palpable feeling of hope in the air. I remarked to the girl next to me that it felt good to be surrounded by others who care so much about this cause. Because this country, it makes you feel crazy that seemingly nobody else does. As night fell, the chant started and continued for many hours. There were so many food donations, the organizers had to ask to stop for fear of food waste. There was a medic on hand in case anybody got sick or fell injured. There was a real sense of community I had never felt before, solidified by the popular chant, "Who keeps us safe? We keep us safe." It was organized, it was peaceful, and police luckily did not get involved. They did it again. A new encampment has formed. Hundreds of protesters sleep outside the original encampment in solidarity. More signs, extra tents, a new morale. Police are swarming around this area now, yet it remains peaceful. It's 3:34 in the morning, and the people are restless. Conversations fill the air. It's buzzing with optimism. A place like this does not know dread. I feel a sense of urgency I haven't before. The signs hung around. They preach of anger. They place direct blame. They don't shy away from the truth. It's refreshing. After walking around and experiencing this atmosphere, at 4:32 a.m., I head home. But one image sticks out in my mind amongst everything else from that night. It wasn't right to capture it on camera, but I'll never forget it. So at this point, There may be a dozen or so people left in the original encampment, having been outside for days with no facilities and limited access to essentials. They have faced fierce aggression, condemnation, and in some cases, suspension. But at nearly 4:30 in the morning, I lay my eyes on this girl, and she's on the other side of the encampment. She's probably been in there for days, on the phone, sobbing. I had no idea if she had found out some horrible news. She could have been arguing with her parents. She could have had her scholarship revoked. Maybe it was the stress of everything coming crashing down at once. I don't know. But I will never forget that image, because even in that moment, which has got to be a low, she cared more about people on the opposite side of the world, people that she will never meet, more than she cared about her own problems. And that feeling, that relentless drive, that unabashed belief in your cause, that spoke to me. That's everything. That gave me hope. Because that's who we are. That's why we keep going. No matter what. No matter how bleak it gets.